14.5 Infrastructure Register. Under Infrastructure Register there are two parts, a total of 9 different pages or tabs. We're going to start with the first one, Part 1. Part 1, it is detailing specifically the infrastructure. So on page 1, the first one is specify the status of the electricity supply of the school, and here's the code. You need to enter 1, 2, 3 or 4, 1 being wired and supplied by ESCOM, and going on to 4 saying no electricity. So you click in the field here and you type in 1. Number 2, does the school have drinking water? So it lists the different types. You can say this is a Fortunate School. Inside, distance to closest water source, let's say 1. The quality of the water, you can choose between the 3. Number 3, specify the sanitation or toilet situation at the school. If you tick it means yes, if you leave it blank it means no. So if you have a flush system to the main sewer, or if you were to have just a bucket system, then click on save. It says I must answer question 5. This means that as soon as you have started this, you cannot stop until you've gone on to page 3 and answered all the way onto page 4. So once you've started filling this information, you only click save once you have gone through all of the different fields. So let's briefly go through pages 2, 3 and 4. On page 2 it says we must indicate the number of toilets, so for both learners, staff, and if there's any ones for disabled people. Number 5, what is the condition of the school's boundary, fence or wall? If there is any, how high is the boundary face? Estimate the number of meters. What material is the fence or wall made of? You can select from these options just by ticking. Number 6, specify the type of access road, 1 being tar, 4 being no access road. So just click in there and specify exactly what number. And continue to do so on page 3. Does the school have a hostel for learners? Yes or no. If it does, you need to fill in the following information. Number 8. Does the hostel provide accommodation for educators? 1 being yes, 2 being no, 3 does not have a hostel. Say 3. If you've said number 1, you need to fill in number of males, females, and do the educators pay for accommodation, 1 being yes, 2 being no. On the 4th page, number 9. Please indicate the general construction of school buildings according to given categories. So, what type of wall is the school buildings made of? So, mud, clay, cement. Remember, you can only tick one of these things. And then the roof type. And choose what type. If it's other, click in here and then type in a description. Then again for ceiling, internal wall finish, and floor finishing. Number 10. Does the school have these labor-saving devices? Tick the ones that apply. So if the school has a photocopier, or a fax machine, and a writing machine, or if the school has neither, leave it blank. 11. What is the general condition of the school building? You can choose one of these options, only one may be chosen. Once you're finished, click save. If you want to, you can click on done to close this, or like I'm going to do, I'm going to click on part 2 to jump to the second part. Remember to save your information. This is part 2 of the Infrastructure Register. We're going to start on page 5. We left off on question 11, this is now number 12. Please indicate the number of instruction rooms according to the given categories. So all you need to do is to click in and then type in the number. Remember, in this section it is on the premises itself, and then there's the three different types. On this section over here, it's if it's on a different site or different premises. At the bottom it says the number of general classrooms should indicate total individual classrooms. Should a room be divided into 2 or 3 instruction areas, then you need to indicate the numbers of class groups accommodated in the next category, classrooms, used by more than one class groups. So, in this one over here, if you have 3 actual classrooms and you have these 3 classrooms have 2 classes each running inside of them, then you will say over here, you'll detail the rooms that have been divided to accommodate more than one class. So now you need to indicate the number of groups accommodated in the rooms. So you're going to say 6. Then, are there any biology and science laboratories? If you leave it blank, then it means there are none, and then you continue to fill this in. Page 6, 13.1. Please indicate the number of offices and administrative areas according to the given categories. How many principal's offices? You just click and you type in the number and do the same for the rest of them. If there's a special other type, you can specify the quantity and then the type of administrative areas. Then 13.2. Specify the number of classrooms that are used for other purposes other than learning and teaching in terms of the categories on the right. For example, if there are a room type that is used as staff room, how many staff rooms, how many separate offices or storerooms, any accommodation, example hostel rooms, any kitchen rooms or other rooms. 13.3. Specify the number of non-instructional areas on the school premises that are used as classrooms on a permanent basis. For example, if you have a hall that is used also as a classroom, you can click you can say how many halls you have, or any storerooms, passage areas or other. Let's move on to page 7. What is the general condition of the following structures? So for each of these, you need to use the key that is given here. For example, the classrooms, these are buildings in good condition, so that's number 4. The staff room, though, I say it will be weak, and then you can continue to fill it in. 14.2. Does your school have sports facilities? Either one or yes in these fields. So the number of standard size fields on the school premises, well, we can say of 2 soccer fields, non-standard size 1, and then the number of tracks not on school premises, say there were 3, and over here it's just 1 or 2. Then specify the surface of the above mentioned sports facilities. For soccer we have 3, and 2 are lawn and 1 is other that we have, and then 1 being the standard size. You go 1 over there. The total here has to line up with the total over here. So over here we have 6, and here we have 4, and here's a total of 6 again. Let's move on to page 8. Number 15. Specify the status of your school, public or independent school. Who is the owner of the land? The independent school, perhaps it's factory-owned land, farm-owned land, church or private company, other. If other, remember if you select other, you must specify the details of the land owner, all the information of the land owner over here. And then the last page, does the school have a security system? Yes or no? If yes, what type of security system do you have? So you can select more than one option in this part over here. Number 17, does the department subsidize transport for learners at your school? Only one or two in this over here. How many learners use the subsidized transport system? 50 for example. What types of subsidized transport is used? Let's say buses are used, number 1 over here. Does the school have its own media center or library? If we say yes, then you need to select one of these options. So a room that is adapted to be a library or media center, or a functional building with books only, or including books, apparatus and programs. Select one of these options. Once you've completed all these, please click on Save to save all the information that you put in. If you wish to jump back to part 1, you can click on this button here and click on Done when you're finished. I'm not going to save any of these changes. And we're back on our Physical Planning sub-menu. Click on Done and you're back under the Physical Resources menu.